Welcome to the FearHEART podcast, part of FearHEART's nonprofit mission to support haunters and immersive artists. Each episode will talk news, stories, and happenings from haunted attractions of all shapes and sizes. Join us if you dare, because in this house, haunted entertainment is art. Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the FearHEART podcast. I am Christy.
I'm Jeremiah.
And today we have a special guest with us, Christine, the Haunt Girl. I'm so glad to have you with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Christine, do you want to tell our audience a little about yourself?
So I am the Haunt Girl on the West Coast. I started blogging about escape rooms and haunted attractions over a decade ago, and I also do social media. And outside of that, I own an escape room, which is horror themed, and we just opened a cat themed game. And I'm also an actor, and I've done some horror movies and some other things, but that's me in a nutshell.
Another time, I would love to have you on to talk more about your horror escape room, because
I was just going to say, I want to know more about that.
It's so good, Jeremiah. It's so awesome.
It's the 13th basement in Anaheim, and we made a parody of horror escape rooms. So it's not your typical horror escape room.
That's pretty funny. It's a clever idea, honestly. It's such a good idea.
Well, today we are going to talk about some of the Valentine's haunts that were going on out in the LA area last weekend. But before we do that, we have our recurring segment, Who Are You Wearing? Because we are very glamorous here at the FearHEART podcast.
One of us, maybe, but I don't think that one's me. I don't know if I reek glamour or not, but...
Well, as you know, if you listen to our previous episode, Who Are You Wearing? We each wear a piece of haunt merch from an attraction that we appreciated or enjoyed, and then we get to talk a little bit about that haunt on each podcast. So Jeremiah, who are you wearing?
Today I'm rocking a long sleeve from Hollow Scream.
Oh.
However, it is themed to the greatest theme park haunt show, in my opinion, Fiends. It's got like the characters of the show Friends, but instead of Friends, it's Fiends, and it's got all the different little logos of the characters and stuff on it as well. Which, fun fact, I've actually never even seen Friends, so it's also a bit funny because people ask me, like, they often think it says Friends because they don't read the full thing, and I've never seen that show a day in my life. But
how have you gone this long with never seeing Friends?
I don't know, man. It wasn't the vibe for me whenever I was growing up. I just couldn't get into it for some reason.
Christine, do you watch Friends?
No, I didn't watch Friends.
No?
Wow.
I've seen an episode or two, and I've seen clips, but it wasn't a show that I got into either.
Yeah, I've seen clips, and I think from the clips I was like, I'll pass.
All right, well, I guess I'm the odd one out then. But okay, well, I know Fiends was a cult favorite for a while at Hollow Scream.
Oh yeah, it's still nothing that they've done to replace it has been worthy of that show. So, hoping that eventually they'll bring it back at some point in time. But it is the best haunt theme park show in my opinion currently.
They also have the best merch.
The merch is pretty cool. It's a lot more unique than other places, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, all of the Hollow Scream stuff. Every time I go, I'm like, oh man, I just want to buy out the shop. But
yeah,
I think I have 1 or 2 hoodies from them.
They have some pretty good like clothing merch at that too. It's actually pretty comfortable. So I commend them for that.
Christine, do they at the Hollow Scream in San Diego, do they have any crowd favorite shows?
I don't think so.
Okay. So they don't have a Fiends equivalent out in California?
I don't. So I have only seen them do sort of small shows, and then they have this dance thing that happens.
Oh,
That
probably Monster Stomp.
it's pretty elaborate, but it doesn't seem like it has a fan base. It's kind of where
Okay.
you go to sit when you're tired of waiting in lines and walking and you want to eat.
That's so funny.
That sounds like Monster Stomp.
Yeah, sounds like San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think only Tampa, well, formerly Tampa. Right now, only Williamsburg does it. I don't think any other HOS has fiends.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I have yet to go to any other Hollow Scream other than the Florida ones. I have not been to Williamsburg. I have not been to San Diego. So those are on my list.
Yeah, same. I surprisingly, when I could have gone there for free as long as I could have, I never went over there, and now I can't. So I'm sure I'll get there eventually at some point. But
Well, Christine, are you participating in Who Are We Wearing?
Yes, I am. I am wearing a Universal Studios Hollywood Halloween Horror Nights hat from 2008.
That so go ahead.
I was I wanted to wear one from 2007, I think is the earliest that I have.
wow,
But I couldn't find it because I think I left it in the car.
no,
Oh
no,
no.
I mean, it's somewhere. I have so many hats. I have a stupid amount of hats. And like I don't even know how I get all of the hats from theme parks, but I have from like just different events too. I have the Not Scary Farm. I have Halloween Horror Nights. I think I have 5 different hats. And I don't even wear hats that often. But I have so many.
it's so funny.
But I worked at Halloween Horror Nights, and so I was there the year that they brought it back in 2006 or 2007, whichever year. Like they had the break here, and then they came back, and I was in the asylum. And so because I worked at Universal for such a long time in costume characters, I was a friend of Curious George. I always had
Oh,
discounts, so I think I would just end up with stuff from like the clearance of the discounts area.
Yeah.
I've never gone to the parking lot sale though. I really want to go to the parking lot sale.
that's where it's dangerous. That's where you'll spend. You think it'll be cheap, and then you end up spending more than you anticipated because of how cheap everything else was.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so 2008, that's the earliest hat I have on today.
That's like a museum piece right there.
Honestly, especially for like the Horror Nights in California.
Yeah. What happened exactly with that break? Because I still don't really understand why Horror Nights stopped out there.
I'm not sure. I wasn't around before when they did it. I heard rumors that it had to do with the alcohol.
Okay.
They didn't really know how to control the alcohol consumption in the park.
Yeah, because they're still a dry event now, right? Or am I mistaken with that?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
They're a dry event now, right? Like they don't serve
No,
alcohol now.
there's nothing dry about our event.
Oh, okay, cool.
Aside from the fact that you get sprayed in like every haunt, no, there's bars everywhere.
Oh, okay.
And if you go through RIP tour, there's special bars just for you.
Right, that's the
There's
best
a
part
lot
about
of
it.
alcohol at the park.
Yeah.
Well, I am wearing a hoodie from Eulogy Collective, which is one of the haunts that we'll be talking about later on in the episode. But Eulogy Collective is well, they've been around for a while, but they're in a new-ish location. They've had that location since Halloween season, this past Halloween season, and they are a year-round haunt. So they opened up again for Christmas, and they did a special Christmas maze, and they are in the middle of their Valentine's season right now, which is running weekends now through like March 8th or something. It's like it
Oh,
runs
wow.
through the first weekend of March.
They're not playing around.
No, they're not.
Well, it
And
seems like
this,
their goal is to just be year round, like literally year round, right?
yeah, yeah. I think the goal is to have like obviously they'll have to close for a few weeks between each season, but then to not be closed for that long.
Well, not a bad idea.
Yeah. And it seems like it's doing well so far. I know Christmas was really busy. I didn't get to see it, but you did, Christine.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, with no further ado, let's go into the main part of our episode, which is Valentine's haunts in Southern California. There's a pretty large selection of haunts available during the Valentine season, like way more than I expected for Southern California. But I feel like every year it just keeps growing.
It's kind of surprising.
We had a lot of things going on, not just typical haunts either. Like Willows, I think, was still going on. And then Queen Mary did a special event that wasn't a haunt, but it was with their characters. There was just so many things. And even up in I don't even know what city it's in, but Atascadero did theirs. Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit out of SoCal, more like the middle of the state, but it was just kind of crazy to know there were so many additional things going on besides All Saints and Eulogy and Black Casket.
Which, did you see that Dark Harbor is going to do the Dark Masquerade again in next month for Friday the 13th?
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. But okay, so like I wanted to focus on the two haunts that both you and I did this past weekend. Black Casket in Yucaipa or Ukaipa?
I don't live there.
You live closer than either
Uh,
Jeremiah or I do.
I think Yucaipa?
That sounds
Yeah,
right.
Ukaipa. There we go. And then Eulogy Collective, as we already discussed, in Anaheim. So let's start.
Anaheim. I do live there, so Anaheim.
Yeah, I remember that
Hey!
one.
Well, let's start with Black Casket. Black Casket is a pretty unique haunt in the way that it's set up. Christine, could you like give us a rundown of Black Casket's like shtick, their formula?
So I was really impressed with the amount of immersive theater scenes that they did. So you start out and you go into the opening, kind of what I would think of as like a holding area. And that leads you into an opening scene where they explain to you what's going on in character by making you part of the story. And then you're part of the story throughout the whole walkthrough. And it's still technically a walkthrough, but you get pulled aside multiple times by characters throughout and become part of the story, part of the action. I was really like impressed with the way they did different scenes with lighting and the amount of space that they have and the way that they change it up every time they do a new haunt, every like from October to now, or if they did Christmas or whatever, they would change it completely. Like even the flow, it's not the same. Like where you go in and out, it's different. And then the end of it is pretty much the end of like a typical walkthrough with
Yeah.
kind of that sort of last scare, and then out you go.
Honestly, I love haunts that do that kind of like immersive theater thing. It's very rare that you get something like that in a haunted attraction because the majority of them are obviously like all conga lines, or you have to get as many people in as you can. So like, and even with the ones that you can pulse people too, sometimes it's hard for them to like really do like a full show, um, whether it's like a few minutes or whatnot. But the chances that you do get to have that experience in haunts, I always think is super cool because it's like it just adds to everything about the haunt itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And these Black Casket does long walkthroughs too. I've only seen them twice. I went to their Halloween event in 2024 and then of course this past weekend's Valentine's event, but both experiences were like 15 minutes long.
Oh damn.
Which was a long time for, a walkthrough maze.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So, like Christine said, they change their maze entirely and the story entirely every single time. So I feel like it's okay to spoil a couple of these scenes. Would you agree with that, Christine?
I think it's absolutely fine. I tried really hard not to spoil anything on social media until the event was over, but now I'm like, these are my favorite scares. Like I'm posting, like I don't think it's a big deal to give them away at this point.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. So Christine, what was like your top highlight from the maze, would you say?
So I think my favorite moment was when they dressed my husband like a bride. stood him on like a pedestal, made him turn and look in the mirror, and then had a scare where the mirror was like a two-way mirror. And
That's awesome.
so he was looking at himself, and then suddenly he was looking at a scary bride coming at him from the other side of the mirror. I really like that effect. I really thought that that was an effective way to bring someone into the story. It was really interesting. It was visually very stunning. Just everything about it was great. It wasn't my favorite scare, but it was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
So this is like a haunt where they can, I assume, touch you then, right?
Yeah, they touched us.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was not aware that that was going to happen going in.
But they definitely
did.
touched
Bit of a
us.
surprise. That's cool.
Yeah.
See, I like that. I like that too. And honestly, yeah, that mirror scare is a very like unique scare too. It's very rarely used in haunts because it's a little bit difficult. But to use it in that manner too, where you have the person, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember being touched in the previous Black Casket maze that I went through, but there were several characters that definitely like didn't grab me aggressively, but like grabbed me to like lead me from room to room, and I liked that addition to it.
Yeah,
I
stuff like
actually
that I
think
think
I
is
got
good.
grabbed aggressively once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because when I screamed and like fell to the ground pretty much in the scene with the table when the vampire jumps from the ceiling at you. I just kept like I couldn't recover well. And so when I walked past the victim at the end of the table, she just grabbed me, I think, because she knew that I was like really scared at that point and like really having
It's a good
fun.
actor.
And yeah, she grabbed my arm and like pulled me back to the table as I was leaving, and I was like, "What is happening?"
That's cool.
Yeah, Jeremiah, there was a legit scare where somebody jumped from like the top of the room and just landed on the table in front of you.
That's impressive, honestly, that someone can do that for hours on end. I'm sure it wasn't a small drop either. So, like, the fact that the actor can even do that, that's impressive.
And my understanding is he's one of the creators.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, well, I think my favorite moment was right after the bride's room where they put your husband in the dress. Then they led you into, because it was right after that room that they led you into the jeweler area, right?
Yes, and you got fitted for your ring.
Oh my gosh. Jeremiah, they took my hands. They took my hands and the hands of like one other person in my group and they bolted it down to a table.
Oh,
Yes, they our arms were completely restrained on the table, and then they were like, "Okay,"
like
like,
actually?
yes, like
Oh,
I
shit.
couldn't, like, I mean, maybe I could have moved my hand if I really
Right.
tried, but
I can tell.
it felt like we were stuck there.
Holy shit.
And then they like, a panel dropped, and of course there are all the weapons there. And he was like, "All right, pick your poison. My favorite is the mallet." And then the lights go off, and all you feel is the mallet hitting the table.
That's awesome.
It
See,
was
at
pretty
first,
terrifying to watch because I didn't end up having my hand pinned down, but my husband did, and I was like, well, you can't hear, you just hear it,
Mhm.
and I was like, what are they doing to him?
at first I was like, this is like kind of nice because they do like a little touchy feely and they push you into a room or something like that and something funny happens and then it goes from that to this. They just strap you to a table. That's crazy.
I mean, just your arm, but yeah, legitimately strapped to the table.
That's pretty cool, especially while other people there watching too. Like, holy shit, I'd be like freaking out too, even if I wasn't grabbed.
So, Christine, since you didn't have your arm strapped down, it wasn't just the sound. It was the mallet. You could feel it vibrating on the table.
That's insane.
It was terrifying because you're sitting there and you can feel like you feel the vibrations on the table. You're hearing the mallet, and it's like it is one of the moments where I've been the most legitimately terrified in a haunt in a very long time.
Yeah, it could definitely be very shocking, especially with the lights going out too. That's a pretty clever effect, honestly. I like that.
Yeah. It was really great.
So, what was the theme of this like haunt? Like, what was the story that they were telling for this one?
Till Death was
Oh,
the
okay.
name of it, and it was vampires.
Oh, hell yeah!
Jeremiah really likes vampires.
I do. I feel like it's gonna end up being kind of like a little like Easter egg in the podcast of how much I love vampires. This is we've done 3 episodes, and somehow every single episode I've been able to, talk about vampires. So
Well, I think there's an actual story behind it too, like that you're coming in and you have to choose whether you're gonna help like kill them or be a victim. And then you go through and you are kind of guided into the castle where then you just become part of like their dinner.
Dang.
That was what I got from it.
Well, you had me until the end where I had to become dinner. Everything else up to that point sounded great.
Like my takeaway was that the main vampire was killing his brides and then replacing them with new brides. And so we end up going from the bridal dressing area to the rings and then eventually to what was probably another one of my favorite moments where you're getting married at the altar. And as you're doing that, they spin the altar around. I fell on my husband.
Did it just like spin you behind a wall?
They spin you into like a hallway that leads you to the next section, which is kind of the exit out through the haunt area with more stairs. There were stairs.
This place sounds awesome.
It's really great. I was so excited to see that they were doing an off-season event because I fell in love with them when I found them back in 2024. But then I was not able to make their 2025 haunt work for my schedule. I just couldn't be out in California at that time, and I was devastated. So when I saw that they were bringing it back for Valentine's Day, I was like super thrilled.
Jumped at it.
Yeah. So you, Jeremiah, like you have to go out to California for haunt season. Black Casket has to be on your list.
Yeah, no, literally, I was like thinking about how I have to make sure I do this like when I go now, because at the time, or I guess we're still kind of planning shit, but as of right now, we're only doing Horror Nights and Knots. But I might have to take a trip over there.
Yes,
sounds cool as fuck.
You're coming out to California and you're only doing Horror Nights and Knots?
Yeah, well, most likely just only because of scheduling. If I had more time, I'd probably do more, but I've never been over there, so I would like to see the Horror Nights in California, and of course, like Knots, which is like the grandfather of basically everything, so.
Well, Knots definitely.
Yeah.
But there's so many amazing independent haunts out here.
You'll have to give me a list, and then I'll add them, and I'll have to look them all up because I only really know a lot, like some of the East Coast stuff, but almost nothing.
Be aware that Yucaipa is a drive.
Yes.
Okay.
So is Apple Valley. They're all far.
But 17th Door is right across the street from Knots.
Yes, Wait, is it really?
If you want a full contact experience, that's where you go.
I've seen videos of it online. Honestly, I might actually do that. I might try and convince my buddy to do it with me. It'd be really funny.
You should definitely do it at least once to see like what it is for yourself.
Have you experienced it?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I've done it a few times. I'm in their documentary in the opening talking about how I don't know why anybody likes this.
I didn't know that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't either. They didn't mention it to me. I just found out when we were doing, I think we were doing interviews for 13th Basement, and somebody who came in to interview for us to work for us was like, "You're in the 17th Door documentary," and I was like, "I am, okay." And so I went and watched it, and I was like, "Oh, I am. They like ripped something from YouTube from one of my videos."
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
I have done it. I loved it, but I got lucky, and I probably really shouldn't be putting this even more out into the universe than I already have, but I'm going to. I did not wear the Mercy Pendant, okay? Because they have a Mercy Pendant that's supposed to decrease your electric shocks by like 90% or something like that. I did not wear the Mercy Pendant because I was like, okay, if I'm going in, it's go big or go home, right?
Right.
And I did not get shocked once.
Oh, wow.
How do you get through that entire haunt without getting shocked?
Christine, I have no idea.
Go with a really big group.
But you have to hold hands at one point, don't you? Or did they get rid of that? Where you literally all get shocked in a big circle?
No, they had me holding hands. Like, I was the one with my hand on the Bible, and I knew at that point, I was like, "Okay, here we go. Like, this is gonna be my shock." And the character behind me took my hand off of the Bible. So I don't know if, like, because he was a character. It wasn't like somebody. It wasn't one of the other guests. I do wonder if the person next to me had a mercy pendant on, and maybe that's how I got away with it.
Mm.
Huh. So when I did it, there was no mercy pendant. That's new. Some sort of wuss thing they've decided to implement for people who decide to go to an extreme haunt and not want it extreme. I don't know. I mean, it's not my favorite thing, but also, like, if you're gonna go, that yeah, why would you wear a mercy pendant? Like, why
Right.
go?
Yeah, exactly. So wait, so how many shocks, like, without the mercy pendant for you? What was how many shocks did you get? Too many to count?
I don't remember. It was a lot. It wasn't as bad as Freakling Brothers, but it was a lot.
Oh, I've never done Freakling Brothers.
I don't think it's around anymore, but they had an area where you had to walk through chains hanging down from the ceiling, and they were all filled with electricity,
Oh no.
along with
That sounds cool.
shocking you on the face. And I mean, it was a lot. They
Yeah.
that was an
Jeez.
intense one.
Wonder why they're not around anymore.
I went to a home hunt in California this past, no, 2 seasons ago. And this home hunt was in Apple Valley. It was not very far away from All Saints, but I don't remember the name of it. But they had a claustrophobia tunnel, and inside the claustrophobia tunnel, there were shocks. So every time you pushed your way through the tunnel, you were getting little
Oh,
shocks.
that's crazy.
It hurt. I really did not enjoy it.
I don't know what this haunt is that you're talking about.
It was a, like I said, I wish I remembered the name, but I know it was about 15 minutes away from All Saints. It was like, probably, it looked like it was on one of those it was not on the dirt roads. Like, if you were going to high desert, it was not on one of those dirt roads, but it was on one of the neighborhoods, like, adjacent to the dirt roads. And there was a house, and then there was a big yard in the back, and it was a really long, involved home hunt. Like, the trail probably took me several minutes to go through, and then that the claustrophobia tunnel was part of it. But I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. Yeah. There were only maybe like 3 or 4 actors that would circulate through the whole thing, and then they would circulate out to the line and then go back in. But they only let one party through at a time or something. So the line was taking a while, even though there were only like 2 or 3 parties ahead of me. I remember being in line for like a really long time, to the point where I was starting to worry if I was going to make it to All Saints. I did, but yeah, I'm trying to give out all the details to see if anything rings a bell for you, but I
No.
don't. Yeah.
The only time I remember ever going through a tunnel like that with shocks on the walls was Rob Zombie's.
Rob Zombies.
Rob Zombie did a couple of mazes at the fairgrounds a few years ago. And
Oh.
I mean, and by a few years ago, I mean probably 2013, 2014. Like, a couple years ago.
Right.
But they had a blackout maze where I think you wore a bag over your head and you went through the maze, and they had a shocker. Like, they were all the walls were covered, and you had to just feel your way through, and you just kept getting shocked the whole time.
Why does California love shocking people so much?
I have
I
no
was just
idea.
about to say, it seems like they're like the only place, aside from New York, that's been doing that to people. Because I don't think there's a single place in Florida that does that at all.
I'm not
Oh my
sure.
God, you're
Maybe
right.
we're all numb inside and we need to feel something. I don't know.
Apparently.
But oh my God, I think you're right, Jeremiah, because even the extreme haunts here, if you pick the extreme option anyway, like, I've been fed things in Florida that I did not appreciate.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and I mean, when I say I did not appreciate it, I just mean, it was a little unpleasant at the time.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be. But Tales of Terror, like,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, they sat me down and fed me a syringe of something
Right.
gross, and then they were like, then they took a spoonful of something and they were like, open wide, and I said, no, absolutely not.
Not today, sorry.
But nobody's ever shocked me. But then nobody's ever tried to force feed me in California. So it's interesting how
You
the
didn't have
states
to
get
eat
torture.
anything at 17th door?
No, I didn't, and nobody in my group was forced to eat anything either.
We had eggnog with cockroaches in it when I did it for Christmas.
Huh.
They did a Christmas haunt?
Yeah,
When did they do a Christmas haunt?
at Christmas time?
But not this past Christmas time.
No, I don't remember what year it was. It was pre-pandemic. So there's like the before times and the after times.
Right.
Back when, they would feed you things and now we don't. Even tension made us like drink vinegar.
See, that doesn't sound so bad, drinking vinegar.
Ugh. I hate vinegar. It's so disgusting. It is my least favorite thing to put in my mouth.
I'd rather drink vinegar than eat a soggy potato chip.
Ugh. Yeah, that's rough.
Soggy potato chips all day for me.
Oh.
I don't know, that texture. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Gross. Wait, where is tension? What is tension?
You don't know about the tension experience?
I have no idea what you're talking about. And I assume Jeremiah doesn't either.
You guessed it.
That was the immersive theater experience done by Darren Lynn Bousman, the director of Saw 2, 3, and Spiral.
Oh.
Yeah, so Darren did the tension experience, and then he did the Lust experience, and then we did something hotel, I think. He did a few of them. And then even during the pandemic, he did one that was a home experience. Like you did it on Zoom and you talked to the actors and everything through the computer, but they brought it into the real world in certain ways. So for me, there was a magician and he did a magic trick in the Zoom call where he cut off a rabbit's foot. And then they go, Christine, go down to your call box. And I was like, what? So I went out of my building and downstairs to the call box outside of my building. And there was a bloody rabbit's foot on my call box waiting for me.
Oh my God.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. But because I had worked with them, not like worked with them, but I had been part of the experience for 3 years at that point, I think there was a bigger chance that somebody who had been part of the experiences got those moments like the rabbit's foot because they knew us. And they knew how we would react, and they knew that it was like we weren't gonna sue them for showing up at our house or anything. So, it was like, okay, whatever. I remember when I first did tension before the actual experience had started, it was like an immersive theater piece that was free starting in February, and we all just kind of fell into it and found each other, and they were doing periscopes where they would drop things at the park and we would go find it, and we had learned the world and created the story with the creators as participants. And then by October, that's when they did the actual event where it cost $100 or whatever to go through. But early on, I covered it when I went downtown and they put a bag over my head and took me into a building and took my phone away and all this stuff. And I didn't know who was behind it. I covered it on my blog. And so I got a call at midnight one night and from an unknown number. And it was Darren, but in character. And he's like, I know what you've done in the light and it is good, and hangs up. And I was like, what? Who's calling me at midnight? What is happening? Somebody die? So yeah, I was like, this is fun.
That's interesting.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible. There's a logo that is part of the cult. It's like the cult's logo. And you can see it in Spiral. It's under the bridge when they go to look at the car. And I saw it and I screen grabbed it and put it up and tagged Darren in it. And then I recreated it because we have a graffiti in our hallways at the escape room. And so at Exit Game, there's when you walk in and you look to the right and up when you first go in the hallway, there's the tension logo.
Oh,
that's cool.
How cool. What did you do the Lust experience too, or just the tension experience?
I did the tension experience and I did the Hotel Macabre, I think was what it was called. So I skipped Lust and I did the other one, but I did it twice. And then I did the at-home one.
Well, I need this to come back so I can do it.
So recently, the Instagram was active again.
Okay.
So we do think that maybe he's thinking about bringing it back or doing something.
But is this like when Blackout's Instagram went active again last year and I got so excited and then nothing came of it?
I don't know. I really thought it was coming back. I just thought they were like changing coasts or something.
Oh,
Black.
Blackout?
Yeah, that's what I thought was
Mhm.
happening. And then yeah, I haven't heard anything else.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to Eulogy Collective, is there anything else you want to say about Black Casket?
I don't know. I just I think that it's a really impressive event and it is worth the drive and the sitting in traffic to get out to Yucaipa because there is going to be that um that little like bit of a deterrent for most locals at least. They're like,
Yeah.
because I told a lot of people about it. I was so excited. I'm like, you've got to go to this tonight. It's the last night. You got to go. Like people who were leaving our escape room looking for other things to do. I'm like, go out here. And they're like, oh, it's so far. And I'm like, but you don't understand. So I think if you're thinking about it and you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know, it's really far. Like, make the drive. Just do it. And then
Yeah.
if you're disappointed, then yell at us. But you can blame me, but I don't think you will be. And I don't like to be yelled at, so, if I'm saying you can yell at me, like, that's a big deal.
All of this has me intrigued to go over there, so I'm
Yeah.
sold.
And HHN out in Hollywood is great. It's like there's nothing against HHN or Fright Fest or any of the other theme park haunts out in Southern California. They are all great. I think that some of the HHN houses out in Hollywood like blow Orlando's out of the water. La Llorona is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen at any HHN ever. Like including the one that was in Florida. They do it better out there. Like
Wow.
I absolutely, but you're missing out if you're not seeing some of the smaller ones too.
Yeah, I've literally always said that, and I always have more fun at independent haunts than I do at like Hollow Scream and Horror Nights and some of the bigger ones. So
Yeah.
it's still true. I have yet to be swayed on that. So
And even our home haunts are pretty outstanding. Because we have people who put together home haunts and yard displays that work in the industry for film and television as prop masters and magicians and all of these, Imagineers. It's pretty incredible what people will do. I mean, there's a guy and his mom that put together a haunted mansion walkthrough in their house and their garage and their yard. And he uses chemicals to make the drinks glow for the ghosts. And I
Oh my
like
god.
uranium or something. I was like, "What?" Like he was telling me
that's
about it and I'm
cool.
like, "This is incredible." But it's kind of scary. Like, "What are you doing? You're doing science?"
I still have not made it out there to that one, but all the footage that I see come out of that haunt looks absolutely amazing.
It's really incredible. They do the elevator scene in their garage and then you walk through, like, they've really done this out of passion and love, and it's really incredible. But there's also, just a yard display. I say just a yard display, but they probably put so much money into this yard display, up in, like, the valley that is, I think he's an Imagineer. He's definitely in the film industry, and he did a full story of Twilight Zone on the front of his house. And he used those screens where if you light behind it, you can see what's going on, but if you're lighting the front of it, then it looks different. And he
Yeah.
projected like Twilight Zone on the front, and then he would light up the scenes from behind, and they were three of the most popular scenes from the show. And then not too far from him is they did the Wizard of Oz sort of wicked house thing, and they had a full like storytelling in their yard. Like the people put people from our area, like especially up north in the valley and like North Hollywood area, they're on like the Great Light Fight, and then they do Halloween as well. Like
Mhm.
they put so much money and time into just their yard displays that you could do a whole yard display tour and still be like blown away.
That's wild.
I I did not have any idea about the home haunt like landscape out here until probably my second season in California and I can't believe I was sleeping on it for so long. Like there's more home haunts than I think there is time during the season to see.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to Eulogy Collective in Anaheim, specifically at the Anaheim Garden Walk, which is right across the street from Disneyland and the Disneyland Resorts. They, as we said before, are in the middle of their Valentine's haunt season. It's their maze is called Sweet Love, and it is running through March 8th. I'm going to double check that real quick, but I believe that is the date. So you can still see this one. Christine, what were your first impressions of Sweet Love?
I was really impressed with the way that they decided to really lean into the storytelling. Like, they have an entire backstory on the website, and they made sure to post it on social media so people would see it, about this killer that was around in, like, I want to say the 60s. And
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, this is the 10-year anniversary, and you're coming back to this town, and this killer has, like, reappeared, and I guess a sort of Scream fashion. but very much storytelling, and very heavy into, they knew what they were going for. And I think they delivered on that and made it very clear. So I really enjoyed that. And I really like the principal that hangs out front and kind of leads you into the world by walking up to you and asking if you have your hall pass, and then giving you detention. And, like, it's a really fun way to kind of get the line queue involved in the storytelling before they're inside. And when I was there was quite a long line. So it was nice to have something going on outside. It also intrigues the passerbys into what is going on. So I really liked how they handled that.
Yeah, I did not know before I went to Sweet Love this past weekend that there would be so many what I would call show scenes where like I felt like I was stopped several times in the maze for there to be like a pretty dialogue heavy interaction with the actor, and then they're like even talking to each other and talking to me and then having a moment and then sending me on my way. So it was way more immersive theater than I even expected. um so I really loved that.
Seems to be a common trend with some of the independent haunts over there. A lot of
Yeah.
theatery kind of type stuff, which I love. Again, I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a good use of the actors. And because we don't have the space here that a lot of other places do, although Black Casket actually has quite a bit of space, because I think it's like
Hmm.
in an old bank. But in the mall, they don't have as much space. So they've taken something that could be like a 2-minute walkthrough and made it a storytelling experience, so that they've extended your time in there and upped the value of the attraction.
Yes.
It's just a smart idea.
Yes. And I did just confirm their last day is March 8th for Sweet Love. And so they're still running for a few more weeks. Um, but yeah, I have a little video up on my social media so far. I'm going to be posting some more. Christine, I know that you have some footage up as well. I did not get to see the principal though. I'm disappointed that I missed interacting with her.
You didn't see the principal? Oh, she's so great.
I
Um,
know.
she was also there. If anybody listening went to the Christmas event, she was outside. She was the elf with green hair, I think. And she was also outside, like, handing out flyers and getting people interested to come into the haunt. So she's their carnival barker, I guess. You might say, like, she's outside trying to get
Draw the
interest to
people
get
in, yeah.
to get inside. So she's a big personality, and she's really good at improv and just a really interesting character. So I'm bummed you didn't get to see her. But I have a video of her up, and it did really well. People really relate to having a principal give you detention, apparently.
It's a universal experience. So yes, it is. Sweet Love is Friday through Sunday now until March 8th. Um, let's see. I really love the location that they're in because they've really like done a lot with the inside too, not just the maze, but they have like a really nice gift shop area and some like really great facade on the wall. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're in Anaheim or nearby.
Yeah, or if you're over at Disney and you have an annual pass and you're like, oh man, it's raining and cold this weekend, head on over.
Heck
Because right
yeah.
now, today it is raining and cold.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, our weather went from like sweltering 90 degrees to 50 and rain overnight. Yeah. It feels
That's
like the
crazy.
Midwest. I don't know where I live right now because this isn't what I signed up for. You moved to Southern California for nice weather. That's the main draw to being here.
So it rained. Fun fact, I drove from LA to Vegas yesterday to catch a flight. It rained the entire way.
That's
And
crazy.
nobody knows how to drive in the rain here.
Nope.
So it can really change your trip.
Oh yeah, it was like a 6-hour drive when it should have taken me like under 4.
Yeah, we got lucky because we have an inside business with our escape room. So we had the people who were planning to go to Disney looking for things to do found us online and came. So we actually were quite busy with the rain.
Yay!
So
That's awesome.
that was nice. But that's why I say, so if you're looking for something to do and you're at Disney and you like Halloween type things, you can just go across the street and it's inside.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
Well, before we close out this episode, Christine, is there anything else you want to say about either haunt before we close?
I just think it's really important that people remember that these independent haunts are made with passion and love. And if you go and it isn't your thing for some reason or other, like, remember that this is not a big corporation that has all the money in the world. Like, they're doing something because they love it, and not everything will be your thing. And it's okay to say, like, hey, it's not my thing. Like with 17th Door, it's not my thing. I still think
Yeah.
everyone should go see it. I don't necessarily want to go and get shocked anymore or be waterboarded or drink cockroaches. But, that doesn't mean it's not your thing. So you should check it out for yourself and see if you enjoy it. But I think that it's really important that people keep that in mind when you go. Like, just see it, do it for what it is, have fun, go with an open mind, and you might find out that you have a new passion for small independent haunts.
All right. So now, really, before we close, Christine, where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on social media at The Haunt Girl or thehauntgirl.com. And if you want to check out my escape room, it is Exit Game OC on social media.
Fabulous. And Jeremiah, do you want to tell our listeners where else they can find you?
Sure. Yeah. Unmanaged Media on Instagram, Facebook. I guess technically Twitter too, but I don't really post on there too much. And if I do, it's usually just bullshit. But if you want to see my photography, Instagram, Facebook, Unmanaged Media.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me in this conversation today. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.